Okay, so for lower primary, and I've done this with the previous kindergarten/year 1 class, you could get students to design their own rubrics for teamwork and for presentations. So you'd have a class discussion about what makes a good team member. So things like listening to your peers and talking to your peers, sharing your ideas and making sure that you're being respectful and kind. And you make them create their own rubric in kid speak, so put that in kind of language that they understand that they would use. So my students come up with, we should be kind, we should not be silly, we should listen to our friends, and so then you use that rubric throughout the project for students to assess their own collaboration according to criteria that they themselves have created. So it gives the students a sense of ownership over their work. Okay, and so for another activity, and I've also done this with the same class that I was just referring to before, you could go around, I did this within the school, but you could go around the neighbourhood and get students to kind of identify all the waste products around the neighbourhood that are just, either within the school or on the pathway, and categorise those different waste products into different categories and get students to create a graph. Could be a simple picture graph for the lower primary years, and in terms of categorising which waste products are recyclable, which ones get thrown away, and how many they found within the local neighbourhood, so they could then present that data to classes around the school or to parents or to anyone, and say this is the waste products that we've found, and kind of get them thinking about how we might do something about that. Yeah, so another activity for the lower primary years could be that students come up with a solution to a teacher identified problem. So something such as, there's so much waste in our neighbourhood, there's too much, what can we do about it? What are some ways that we can solve this issue? And then the students could work in pairs or in groups to come up with a solution and then present that solution to the class. If you've designed a rubric for presentations, and the other students within the class could use that rubric to give feedback on the student presentations in terms of using something like star wish, so 2 things that they've done really well and 1 thing they might need to work on, and say, okay, we really like that you've come up with this solution, but have you thought about this particular problem that might come up and how you might solve that? So yeah, get students to present their ideas to the class basically.